What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Spiral Up podcast with myself, Bryan Scarborough, my lovely co-host, Lyla, Lush. We are definitely going to do a little Halloween, episodes, 2 days to Halloween. We're going to talk about communication styles, healthy, and then, the spooky, kind of fucked up communication styles that, can kind of make your skin crawl a little bit when you're in relationships or just dealing with, friends, family. Hopefully we can all start to communicate at a higher level and continue to spiral up. And that is the goal of this podcast. Lyla, how are you?
Oh, hello, everybody. I am the spookiest ringleader over here, bringing some fun, bringing some character to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm so happy to be back. And yeah, when it comes to communication, I know I have struggled for a very long time, feeling just not very confident, not knowing what to say, feeling like vulnerability would be, push people away, and it does, and that's a good thing. And we're here to just dive into the shadowy aspects of when we're not feeling safe, when we're triggered, when we feel misunderstood, and give you phrases, things you could text, and my nose almost fell off. Oh no. And different tools that you can use to come back together, to share your truth honestly, because the goal in life is like, how quickly can we come back to love, even when our heart is like, when we're feeling contracted and just like, oh, like so much is happening. It's like taking the space that you need to be able to come back to love and being able to communicate that with your friend, your parents, your lover, anything like that. So there's a lot here today. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. Would you be interested in a little prayer before we get started?
Oh yeah, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, placing your hand on your heart, taking a nice deep breath, exhaling out, inhale again, in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more with a big audible sigh. The more we hum, sigh, really just like let our expression out through vibration. We're creating space for the new to come in. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for opening your hearts to us in the spirit of Halloween and going deeper into the shadows that can come and haunt us and keep us feeling separate from others. May this podcast, may something be able to stick and resonate with you, to be all of a sudden just like in your toolbox when needed at the right time. And thank you for the spirit of the land and everyone's characters that come out and play. May you dress up and be weird and expressive and just let an alter ego run through you to stretch your edges of your character and your play and your fun and your creativity through this Halloween festivities. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for all of you, for Bryan, for this moment. Letting yourself arrive here and being fully present with us to receive all the nuggets of wisdom that's meant to carry on with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Amen to that. So, I was thinking maybe we would start off with what unhealthy communication looks like. Like, what is that spooky, cringy communication styles that really, plague relationships and lead to resentment, lead to a lot of trauma responses, make people want to separate more. What are some things for you that are really negative when it comes to communication? Or what are, red flag communication styles for you?
One of the harder ones to see for me is love bombing, because I love it so much and I enjoy it so much. Of course, I love to be gassed up and just like, tell me everything I want to hear, and tell me like how much you love me on day 3. Like, I just like, when we're all just like kind of seeking, sometimes not seeking, try not to seek love, but like deep down we're like, I just would love my person to do life with. And when I've had that happen a couple times, and it feels really good in the moment, but I'm just like, bro, like, you don't even know me. Like, yeah, I'm fun, I'm wild, I'm silly, and I'm sure I bring a lot of happiness to your life, but like, you don't know my quirks. Like, you don't know the little things that my triggers and traumas, and like, do you actually have like the space, the willingness to actually hold that when shit comes up? Or are you just like gonna just, run away, or like feel like I'm too much when things come up? So it's like really having the spaciousness and the slowness to like build that emotional intimacy of like care, trust, and respect first. And that takes time to be able to see. Like, you can see so much once you're like out of the love bubble, like initial phase, when you start to like see all the little things, like things show up and you're just like, ooh, I'm noticing that. And then the key is not to just like, I know I've like dissected men in ways where I'm just like pinpointing from like different resentments or different stuff a little bit later on, and I can like easily see different things that I just like pick apart. So that's something that's like seems positive, but it's negative when it comes to the love bombing. Reactivity, I feel like
definitely
is a huge one, where we instantly feel all this contraction and like these like explosion out, and that's gonna happen at times, but like, how quickly can you humble the fuck out of yourself and be like, oof, like, I'm sorry, like, that's not how I wanted to say that. There was a lot happening, like, and like real-time healing is like doing it in the moment, being like, this is how I would love to say this, or this is what I meant. Or so when we're reacting and like name calling, or reacting and sharing the you, which is definitely things like, you did this, well, if you weren't this, like the blame game is like never going to get you anywhere, because that just like gets defensiveness. And it's hard. It's really hard when you're heated in the moment and you're just like, oh, to dig with that like conscious communication of being able to be like, when you did this, I felt this. Like, it's hard in the moment. So always having grace with yourself, but yet again, how quickly can you come back to love in a way that is going to create peace between you two, because you both don't want to be fighting, you both don't want to be triggered, you both don't want to be yelling at each other. So it's like, if you can get on that same team and like come back to it, then it can be much more joyful. Do you have any more examples?
Yeah, I love the coming back to the same team part. Like, especially when it's a relationship that you do really want to be in and you have a lot of love for that person, to really like remember like you are on the same team. It can be so easy to find like the separatism and feel that separate energy and want to like push away, but in the end we're on the same team, and we want to like come back to love, come back to the joy and the fun and the happiness that got us there. And I like the other thing you said about awareness. Like, in the moment, it's so hard to have that awareness. But when you get to that point where you can be in the moment, say something you didn't mean, because none of us are perfect. And when emotions come up, things can happen. Emotions are such a volatile expression. We feel them, and what's going to come out next? Is it the fiery rage from within, or is it the love bomb? But we're not perfect. Things are going to be said that maybe don't need to be said, but to be in the moment and to come back and kind of drop into the awareness and be like, ooh, that wasn't how I wanted to say that, or that wasn't how I meant to say that. I think that shows a lot of just like growth in a person. So we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Communication isn't a perfect science by any means. And a lot of that is due to the volatility of emotions that humans feel. Even if things are going great, one little thing can trigger a pretty big, response. And it's okay to be vulnerable in that moment too. And even if you're vulnerable and it doesn't come out perfectly, it's okay to be like, let me take a step back. I realize that was a little harsh or intense. This is how I really meant to express it. So, yeah, love what you said there. I think some like red flags or sort of things that I would call like sort of cringe communication. The first thing that comes to mind is no communication. That like that one hurts. That one's hard, and I've dealt with that a lot in past relationships, where it's like I just won't communicate, even though you can clearly feel like the energy's off between the two. What's going on? How are you feeling? I'm fine. Nothing. Like that to me is like the fucking worst. Like, let's remember we're on the same team. Like we said, let's come back and let's just drop in with each other and be vulnerable. And I think that that's where like healthy communication really shows up, is when you're able to accept the situation for what it was, accept the feeling for what it was in yourself or the other person, and to be able to just come back and drop in, go back and forth, say what you really meant, even if it's a little harsh, and hopefully for the other person to not take offense to it, but to just listen to it and be able to sort of hold that space energetically for that emotion, because emotions are funny things. They come on strong, they can hit like a train and then they can be gone, so giving things the proper time and patience and having patience, I think, is a big part of communication that maybe gets overlooked a little bit. But when you're able to patiently communicate and listen, I think that goes a long way. And sometimes it's the listening that gets overlooked as well. Everybody wants to be the one talking about how they feel, but to be able to kind of just sit and listen and be present for someone else's experience, like that is extremely helpful as well. But yeah, no communication. That one kills me. That's hard. It's like everything is saying that there's something wrong. There's clearly the vibes off, emotions are being felt. But it's okay, I mean, at the same time, to have patience for that. But even like a little bit of communication can go a long way, right? Like, even in that moment, if you don't want to communicate right then, you could say, I'm still processing my emotions. I need some time. That right there says it all. And it's like, okay, go take your time. Go have your moment to understand what you're feeling before you just, word bomb someone and hit them that way. So it's sometimes a delicate subject. I think it's funny that we're doing this. Mercury's a few days away from going retrograde. Just came into detriment in Sagittarius today. So it's definitely it's Wednesday. It's Mercury Day. So it's a fitting day to kind of go over different P's and Q's of communication. What else do you got for us, Miss Lyla?
Thank you for all of that. And I think what you shared about the active listening is probably one of the hardest things, because even when you're speaking, I'm like, ooh, like I'm getting like impulses of like what to share next. And then it takes me like a moment out of like what it is. 'Cause I'm like, oh, remember instead of trusting. So it's like when like people feel misunderstood when they don't feel heard, and that's when we get louder. That's when we need to feel like we need to yell and like get bigger to be able to be misunderstood based off our upbringings. I know I wasn't always heard when I was younger, and I would shut down and just like recluse, while some other people get bigger and get louder and yell to like feel heard, and I shut down. And so there's multiple ways. Everyone's a little bit different, but you know, one of the best ways to, if someone's finally opening up and they're sharing what's on in their heart, like being like, and it's hard to remember all the things. And like, this is why listening to this a couple times or just practicing like one thing at a time to like, till you really dial it and then like move on to the next is like, okay, so what I'm hearing is like, you would rather have someone speak to sharing that there is something going on, but they're not ready for it yet, than being like, nothing's going on. 'Cause we're all super intuitive and we know when something's off. And this is something that I wanted to share as well, is like, I can feel something's off, but instead of being like, hey, I'm noticing something's off, like, can we have a drop-in? Are you okay? Like, what's going on for you? Is there a story you're telling yourself? Like, I just don't ask because I'm like just nervous. And that was like an older version of me. Now I feel more like confident and able to hold all of that. But we all know when something's off. And
Pretty up.
And to deny it is just making us all go mad, and not the good way, Mad Hatter style. So really speaking to it, and in whatever capacity is needed, just to name it, and then like create a time space to like drop in about it. And just remembering that vulnerability is sexy. Like get that in your head, because I just remember I was for so long craving intimacy and depth. Like I'm so deep as a human with my females, but like depth with a male, I was like so vulnerable because I haven't had men be able to like hold all of me and be able to handle like all of the emotion that comes up. And now that I've been doing this work and like communicating and practicing communicating, I am meeting more men that have done the work and that can meet me. And then now, because I've done the work, like I can tell instantly like where the red flags are, where I see a little bit of this or a little bit of that. And like I feel more confident in my abilities to be able to just be real with where I'm at exactly, and like what I desire, what I want, like in the earlier stages of like what I need to feel like comfortable at a pace where we're going, like as new relationships are forming. And when it comes to like ghosting, the spooky season, the ghosts are out. Ghosting, not texting back, being like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like having this connection and feeling like really like met, and like if someone else is just as excited as you, or you had a sweet connection or a sweet dance or like a sweet passing through and you exchange numbers, and then, you know, you have these moments of like texting, or you had a great experience and then not texting back at all. We're too old for that shit. I don't care how old you are. Like there's no more of that, because it can be so simple. I feel like we've all been ghosted before to know that it fucking sucks. And you start to go mental. You're just like, what? I thought what? Like I'm going insane. And then you become more obsessive and loop, and like they could feel that in the psychic space, because the energy you put out there, like as you're thinking about someone, like they can feel that in their field. And like just being able to be like, hey, I thought I had more space for this. Like I enjoyed my time. I thought I had more space for this, but I actually don't have space for this type like of communication or relationship. Like I hope you're well. Or, hey, I thought I would have like, I was open to having like dinner with you and I'm actually like not in the space right now. Some things came up and I'm just like not feeling ready. Or, hey, I'm just actually not available. You could like, it doesn't have to be that hard. Like you could make it really simple, but sending a 10-second text to ease somebody else's mind and let them go is good for your consciousness, their consciousness, everybody. And it'll up level you in like the ways that you are relating, because if you're ghosting, you're going to get ghosted. Like it's the law of reciprocation. Like it's just going to happen. So it's like, grow up.
So true. So true. Ghosting is an interesting thing. I don't think I've ever ghosted anybody just because I'm like,
you're a good boy.
I'm so like interested all the time. If I meet somebody and like exchange numbers, like I was genuinely like interested, and that didn't like change.
Those spiritual fuck boys out there.
There are times, I don't know, different occasions like online over my years of like doing content and stuff where like people have like hit up my DMs and I'm just like, I don't have space for that. But it's a little different than like having a moment in person and like exchanging the vibe. So it goes a couple different ways, I think. But that's just where like a little bit goes a long way, like you said. And it's okay to feel something one moment and then to feel completely different later. And we all go through those moments in life, but that's just where like that little bit of communication, whether it's one sentence text or, whatever it might be, it goes so far because we're naturally like set up to loop in our minds. It's just kind of part of the brain. It'll hold on to certain thoughts, especially like the last 3 weeks with Mercury and Scorpio. Like it'll hold on to things, like grab. Now it's just going to be all over the place. It's kind of a mess. So we have to be able to consolidate our own thoughts and feelings in hopefully healthy ways, and find better ways to express how we feel, what we see for our futures, where we're trying to go in life. It goes a long way. Like you said, vulnerability is sexy, and it really is. That's one of the things I've loved about experiencing you in my life is you've been a great communicator, where you've been able to really like tell me what's going on, what you need, what you want, what you expect. And I can speak for, just from the masculine side of things and from the man's point of view, is that doesn't happen enough. Like, for some reason, women want men to just know. And every now and then we'll get lucky and we'll know and we'll do it. But a lot of the times we don't know. We don't know. We're trying our best to understand the little different dynamics, and it goes a long way when there's like some verbal, try this, maybe this, do this. It makes such a big difference. And I know that some men don't take that particularly well either. So I get where it's like this sort of dicey road that women have to navigate, because some men don't want to be told anything, right? But man, when you find a man who genuinely wants to, be there for you and treat you well, it goes so far to just actually know what's going on or what's in your mind or how you're feeling. So I always appreciate that so much with others. And it's not always my strong suit either to just like express every little thing I'm feeling. I'm usually trying to understand my own emotions in the moment. So like trying to just like put it out there and be like, this is how I'm feeling right now is very difficult a lot of the time, because I need to like separate from everything for a minute and be like, how do I really feel about that? And then usually by that, taking some space, spending some time with myself, I can figure it out pretty quick and then deliver what it is. But I need to take a sip of water. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, thank you so much for it's so beautiful to hear from like the masculine's point of view and the feminine, because there's just so much to relating, and I love that I even have permission to tell you what I want more. That feels really nice.
I love that.
Because even when I am sharing and like, there's ways that you can do it where it doesn't feel like needy, sometimes it's like, hey, I'm needing this, and that's like real and that's okay. And that doesn't make you needy, but making it fun and sexy and playful in ways of, just being like, sometimes I just like to like, be a brat. We were talking about like me and my friends were talking about the other day, and they just like, they wanted their door open. So they just stood there with their arms crossed and they're like, what are you doing? And there's like, looks at the door and it is just like opens up, and just like making it playful and fun. And like sometimes you want to have like your little brat come out, and I feel like that's important to have space for that, because otherwise I'll just do it in like in the heat of it, if I can't be a brat playfully, like I'll be a bitch, and nobody wants that. So when it comes to just invitations, invitations are a beautiful thing. And I know there's like a whole thing of like masculine initiation and leading and women, like there is a balance when like the women is like you're meeting somebody and like the woman's feeling more initiatory and like wanting a little bit more and like creating like more space or like opportunities for things of connection. And at the beginning, that's really hard, because then the polarity is like thrown off a little bit, and like there's just a sweet finesse and a balance of that. Like if a man's like interested, you'll know it, and like then once like the invitation is there, like the feminine can create like diversity and like the opportunities to play or to connect or to whatever, but there's just like some fine lines. Because I remember like if I like someone, it was kind of rare, and I'd be like, do you want to do this? And then we'll do this. Like I had 1,000 plans that I wanted to do because I love adventure and like doing that with someone that I adore. And yeah, like they just feel like overwhelmed in some ways and just like not as into it. So I learned to really like pull back and like feel like whole and complete, like in the spaciousness of like this connection is here. It was sweet. I change my mind all the time. Like I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I'm so into it. And then like the next day I'm like a generator with a solar authority. And then the next day I'm just like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. Like absolutely not. So it's like I have compassion for people who are like into it and then not, and then just knowing and loving and accepting yourself of being like, that was a sweet moment and that opened my heart and that taught me this, like this is the medicine of that person, and like I'm not going to beg, I'm not going to chase, I'm not going to pray and wish and hope that they would like text me and message me. And that like does come up, but you have to catch yourself. Like you really have to catch yourself, because they can totally feel that in the psychic space. Like I do cord cutting rituals with little shits that like have ghosted me or like just winging me around, like holding on to me because they don't really have the balls to like let me go, but like just breadcrumb me. And I'm just like, no, like after a certain amount of time, I'm over it. So I'll do like a cord cutting ritual, and I'll have like 2 pillows, and I'll take a cord and I'll have a candle, light the candle with some water, and the water holds the energy and the emotions, and then I'll offer it to the earth and light the candle, call in my guides, angels, and ancestors, and I will play out like my portion of like how I really feel, and I'll just be like, and it can be anything from like, you know, just being like, you're such a little bitch, like why can't you just respond to me, you know? Hey. Or like, hey, like I am freaking like, I thought we had something here. I'm open. I'm just like playing out a conversation that I don't get to have with this person. And I can speak to their inner child and be like, I can tell you're just afraid. And like, you know, you had mommy or daddy issues and like, you just weren't taught how, and like really like tune into like the vulnerable parts of like what's really happening underneath all of it, because we all have like good hearts. Like we all want to be good people and like show up. And like sometimes our traumas and triggers and fears just take over and we just can't. That's okay. Or I'll speak to like his adult self, and I'll do this with my parents, my mom, my dad, like my like a sister that I'm fighting with, like someone that is just like holding on in different ways. And then I'll go and flip into his position and I'll speak from them to me and being like, you know, trying to understand more of like what's happening, like putting myself in their physical shoes and talking back to me and being like, hey, like, you know, I really do adore you, but I just don't feel like worthy enough for you. I don't feel like I can hold all of you. Like, I don't feel like I have my shit together enough to know, like, I'm busy, I'm this, I'm growing, da, da, da. And just go back and forth. And you could just feel all the tension, all the contraction, all the like energy that you're not able to like speak to this human. And like, it starts to dissolve and starts to move away. And then when you feel complete, you just say like, here and now, I cut any cords of attachments, of desires, of connection to this human. I clear my psychic space. I allow what's meant for me. Like, this is all a refinement area. Like, I trust myself. I am whole and complete. And cut that motherfucking cord. And you cut the cord, flush it down the toilet, throw it away, bury it, blow out the candle, and then go offer the water to the earth and like thank the earth for holding all of you. 5 times this has happened. The next day, this person feels that I am no longer attached. I no longer need the energy. I no longer need anything from them. They text me, oh, hey, I was so busy. Like, how are you? And I'm like, like, nah, sorry, honey.
It's hilarious. The universe has a really funny way of like throwing that, like, you said, okay, you did the ritual. You said you were done.
Are you?
Are you?
This is your test. This is your initiation. Are you?
So interesting. Gosh, you're on fire. I'm
hot now.
Yeah, you were cold before we started. It is chilly fall. But it's beautiful now. What? There was something I was like, I want to talk about. Oh, communication, right? A lot of the communicating that gets done in this day and age is through text message. And you had mentioned that with like the ghosting, right? Like a little text message. Texting is such a weird game in this world that we live in right now. I don't know why it has to be such a game. Because if I happen to be holding my phone in my hand, because we use our phones for all sorts of different things, and I get a text message, I'm just going to respond to it. You know, it's like already in my hand. It would actually take more effort for me to see the text and be like, nah, got to get back to that. I'm going to let you wait. Just sit there, and I don't want to look desperate or something. Then if I just get the text and I'm like, oh yeah, here's a response. What's up with that game? Why is there such a weird game? Is it because of like the online dating culture? Is that part of it? Or do you think it's just a natural thing where you, like, maybe a woman doesn't want to feel like someone's desperate to communicate with them? What do you think?
This is something that I'm just sharing based off of my own experience and like what I've noticed. But like every person you meet is different, you know, because someone that you meet may actually be able to meet you and like, you know, and you feel comfortable and you feel fine. Like, I don't feel like we ever really had that. No, we were just like real from the start. But
yeah, and I think we both just wanted to communicate and connect.
Yeah, that was like a priority for us to be real and like where we're at. The initial stages are tricky because there's a lot of us that want what we can't have. And like, I know that I grew up like super fucked up in the head and like, I need certain levels of intensity and like, I'm learning the game of like I don't think I feel like I like mess with people, but like I was the one who was like super on my phone and like available and down when I met somebody, because it was rare. Like I'm pretty picky, you know, and when I did, I would get overly excited and like it would overwhelm them. Like, would that happen now with like the caliber of people that I'm meeting? Like, I'm not quite sure. But I think there is beauty and spaciousness in like, not like in a space of like having them wait like a long time. Like it depends if you're in a conversation, you know, if you're in a conversation back and forth, but if you're doing something, if you're this, like I wait until I can like actually respond.
Right.
Because if I'm just like half-assing a response, like that also feels weird. You're like, wait,
short.
Yeah, it's like I don't have the space to like fully respond, so I'm not going to. And that also creates like a little bit of tension, like healthy tension, but also like it shows you like what is coming up when like someone doesn't immediately respond to you, because that's your own shit to deal with. Like that's like showing you like where you're not whole, where you're seeking, where you need someone's approval to like message you right away. And like I do love when people message me like within a certain amount of time, and like I notice like I get like more of a dopamine rush when like I have to wait a little bit, and then I receive the text, and then I'm just like, oh, they do care. Like, what? I'm crazy. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, you know, like it's all good.
Super common. I think we all kind of do that to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said too. I mean, it's like one thing. If it's convenient, I have time, I'm going to respond. If I don't have time, that's another thing. And that's where we have to give people grace, right? That usually we have something going on in life throughout the day. Most people either, whether it's a job or kids, you know, there's like responsibilities and things are getting done. So yeah, definitely with text messaging, there's that thing where like, you gotta give some grace for like life. Like not everybody can stop what they're doing in that moment to send a text back. And yeah, I think it's nice too when you know someone's busy, and you know, then you get that text and you're like, oh, they made time, or they're done with what they're doing. Great. I think that is all certain things that go a pretty long way, and it does feel good, especially when it's someone you care about and want to talk to. But also knowing that like people have lives, you know, they're an individual, they're like doing their own life. To think that they have to respond to you right away every single time, that's kind of wild too, right? So we have to be able to catch ourselves too, and not get stuck in these loops where we're needing someone else to fill a hole for ourselves, where we can self-soothe and take care of ourselves enough, and then also be productive in our own day instead of just sitting around waiting for a conversation or some kind of communication with another human. How do we keep ourselves busy? You know, that's important too. Are we working on projects? Are we creating something? Is it something artistic, or is it literally just a chore around the house that needs to get done? All these things, you know, are important for us as individuals to do and, you know, be responsible for. Not every like quick text is life or death and needs to get responded to right away. But, you know, if it's convenient and I'm not open to it, I'm just going to respond because it was in my hand anyways.
You just have such a big heart.
Yeah.
Such a big heart. You really do. It's true. We both do. But I got a little bit more fire. Oh, okay. What's coming through? When you feel you're in conflict and something's come up and there's just like too much going on in the moment, and you feel yourself either about to say something that you don't really want to say, you're starting to feel contractions in your body, you're starting to feel angry, and you don't want to do any of that, what do you say? What do you do?
Like if you're having this moment and you just don't want to be in conversation right now, but you also don't want to like ghost someone or
Yeah, just say we're in person and we're getting into it. I'm getting heated about something, and you're getting angry, and it's not you're not able to like come through with what you really want to say. Like, what would you do in that moment?
That's a good question. I think I would ask for some time. Just be honest. I don't know how to respond to this right now. And I would probably try to do my best. Or I would just take a deep breath and, if something feels like it can come out and it feels true, then I'm going to, deliver that response in some way. But if it just can't, and I'm too confused within myself, I mean, ideally, I want to be able to express that I just don't know. Or I don't know how to respond and, be okay with that. I've gotten to a point, for the most part in my life, where I'm okay with not knowing. Like, there's so much I don't know. And I don't expect to show up perfectly in every situation throughout the day. And, just ask for grace. I don't know how to respond to that right now. Give me a minute or two, or let me just sit with that, and I'll eventually, come to some sort of a response and give whatever that is. What about you?
Thank you so much for that. That's beautiful. I feel like there's so much in there, I think like polishing it off with like love is very important, because if you have an anxious attachment human, and like I don't see you getting like angry, but if you have like an avoidant
I can get angry. Doesn't happen too often.
No, it doesn't. If you have someone who is more outwardly expressive in anger or rage, or you have an avoidant, and then those from polarity aspects attract anxious attachment. So the anxious attachment wants to fix, doesn't want to leave, needs to speak everything out immediately, because there's this sense of urgency and like the sense of just like, I need you to know everything right now. And like the avoidance just like, oh, like my brain is overloading. Like I need to take space to come back to myself, because all I'm feeling is like you. And like, that's why at the beginning of relationships too, we want to enmesh, we want to we're just becomes obsessed and so happy with each other. But it's much harder to see the red flags and much harder to see all the little subtleties if we're constantly with each other. Taking a day, taking space, even a couple hours is so healthy to be able to come back to self, to come back to your own being and meet them. If there is something that came up, you're like, ooh, I noticed this. Ooh, I'm feeling this. Like, I'm curious about this. I feel like in conflict, especially, like getting curious about where it's coming from and what triggered it, over like hearing like you did like the blame, or like feeling fully responsible for it because we're in this because of something that I did. Like being really curious and being like, I'm curious, like what moment this like triggered, like when did this trigger this moment, and like where else have you felt that, or like what did you need, like what would you have preferred to happen, like what can I do to make it right, and just like I'm always trying to figure out like, okay, like how can I make this right? Like how could I make this better? Like I want to be a better person. I want to improve. I want to do like as much as I can to show you that I love you and I care for you. And I feel like in that moment also, if the avoidant needs space, being like, hey, I'm feeling a lot coming up right now. Like I'm feeling like contraction. I'm feeling like myself getting frustrated. Like I'm feeling myself getting overwhelmed. I'm going to go take, 20 minutes of space, and I'll come back when I feel more regulated and clear, and I just want you to know, like, I love you and I care for you, like, and I'm coming back, but I just need some time. And that can just, like, for an anxious attachment, like, I have been anxious attachment. And, like, I remember 5 years ago, my relationship, he would go, like, explode and, like, just leave. And I was just like, oh my God, like, he's never coming back. Like, he doesn't love me. Like, I was freaking out, like, so much. And I told him 5 times, like, this is what I needed to hear. I needed to hear, like, I love you. I need space. Like, those 2 things, like, can create so much regulation in my body to be like, like, okay, like, conflict is okay. Like, he's coming back. He still loves me. Like, it's okay. And he couldn't rise to that occasion ever, but it's okay because like later on, you know,
some people just aren't ready at that time.
No, we're not. So yeah, I think those words can go a long way, and, you know, find what works for you, but wrapping it with, like, I love and care for you is very important. And it's also an anxious attachment's responsibility to sense, like, the need for urgency, to, like, feel and share everything that may not be fully processed. And some people are, like, the dynamics works where you can fully just process together and, like, work through it together. And that's beautiful. And sometimes, like, that's overwhelming for somebody who had to, like, deal with, like, everything on their own and, like, didn't have, like, family to do that, you know, to process with. And some people grow up in families and it's just like, chaos all the time, and, like, that's just what they're used to. So it's, like, trying to understand more of, like, different parts of your childhood, like, each other's childhood, and, like, just, like, the triggers and little, like, things that are there that can send you through the roof in a second is, like, just really important. So just getting as curious as possible and not taking it personally, because what do you have to say about that?
That's the biggest thing. Well, I just think to, like, add on to where you were just at is, like, questions are so important. Like, ask questions. It's good to be curious. It's good to not know. So if you want to know something, what's the best thing to do? It's ask the question. And, you know, that opens things up for maybe responses you don't necessarily want to hear. It might not be the response you ideally needed at that time, but at least you know where that person is at in that time. And I don't think there's, like, wrong questions either. If you're feeling something and you need to, like, find some sort of clarity, the best thing you could do is ask the question. Even if it does maybe sound like a stupid question to ask in the moment or something, or maybe you should know, but you don't have that clarity, get the clarity with the person and ask the question. I think that's super important. With, like, attachment styles, I feel like we could do a whole, like, show on attachment styles. I'm just kind of within the last year, like, learning more about the attachment styles, and it's super interesting. It's just really interesting to see them play out and how we attract different attachment styles all the time, and then we wonder why there's conflict, but we're like naturally sort of attracted to the polarity in a little bit of what we naturally are. Kind of completes the circuit in some way. But being okay with someone's different attachment style, and again, not taking it personally, I think is one of the biggest things to just grow in life in general is, you know, right? It's one of the 4 agreements. And I love that. Don't take things personally.
It's so hard.
It is hard because we have egos and we have, you know, things we identify with, and we can identify heavily with our partner, with our best friends, with our parents. So we have to be able to detach a little bit from that union, whatever it is, and you know, still remain solid and whole, but be able to be receptive to what somebody else is projecting. What does their solid and whole look like, and how can we come back together over time or in that moment? And I think, you know, like you mentioned a few times, it's coming back to love, you know, saying what needs to be said, but in, like, a way that's, I love you, but I am feeling this way. I care about you so much. I want you to be happy. And I realize I haven't been doing that. I've been doing this, which doesn't give that happy response. Ask a question. How can I do it differently? Questions are so important. So I just think questions help a lot.
Do you have any more examples of questions?
Any more examples of questions? I mean, it could be about anything. It could be in the bedroom, questions about intimacy. It could be questions about what you would enjoy to, what would you like to do today?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fun to just I plan this, right? And be like, we're going to do this thing. But if you haven't had some sort of conversation or asked some question, maybe that's not what the other person would like to do at all. And then it's just well, I'm doing this because I love you, but, don't expect me to have fun. Another example of a question.
Just
I think a lot of the questions, how could I, for me, it's what can I do better? And that could be about anything. How can I, especially if I want to, bring some level of happiness in some part of the life. It's how can I do this better? Do you enjoy this? Are you having fun?
Tell me what you want.
Tell me what you want. Yeah, that's totally part of it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Because if you tell me, I'm open to that, and I'll try my best to give you what you want, Yeah,
Yeah, and I feel that's just the beauty of relating and choosing to be in a connection, in some type of relationship with somebody who you're intimate with. It's we are there to serve each other pleasure and make our lives easier. And I've just had experiences where I'm sharing my truth, or hey, I'd love this, or warm me up this way, or tell me this. And I feel there's been so many times where I've been shut down, or they're just shh, I'll get there, and they don't, or they're just I hit a wound, and all of a sudden they're just pouting, and these are the difference of just a wounded, the wounded self, the wounded boy that's not quite learned his emotions and how to handle them and move them through his body and claim his worth. And we've all been there, we've all been the wounded child, and that's how we relate. And evolving from that is doing our best not to take that personally, and remember, we're here to please each other, we're here to worship each other, we're here to love each other, to fill each other up with love. So if it's listening to my yoni and what she wants when I don't feel heard or listened to, or someone wants to give me what I want to open my flower, to open my lotus flower, she ain't opening, my heart's not opening. I'm more looping. I'm not feeling connected because I'm not feeling heard. And that goes both ways too. I want to know what turns you on, and if you don't, then don't be in a relationship until you're there, until you feel you have the capacity, the love to give, because I know when you fill a woman up with love, and she's feeling full, she'll give tenfold. We can do a million things at once. Women are single track in some ways, so I think that's really beautiful. And when it comes to stories in our heads and things that come up, because it gets really easy to get attached to a story. I feel even the other day with you, I was I have a fear that's coming up, and I felt the pressure and the contraction in my body, and I was oh my God, I felt I was hiding, and I was I feel the fear that I'm gonna break your heart. The story I'm telling myself is that I'm gonna break your heart, and it was so liberating to say that, and like then to like come together and talk about and like get on the same page and feel this like this connection through being like so honest and being like, I'm telling myself all these stories right now because I'm really good at self-sabotaging, and I'm really good at like, being really afraid and then fucking things up and then like blaming myself and going out of spiral. So you know what? I'm just gonna make like I feel afraid. I feel a fear coming up and I want to speak to it. And that felt so scary at first, but then like so liberating.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Just to put a little bit of context to that for listeners, when Lyla and I started seeing each other almost 4 months ago, she had already made plans to move. So she's, her mission's somewhere else. She's got things that her soul feels she has to do elsewhere. So that was already talked about and expressed and communicated, and we've just gotten closer since then. So her fear was that, because we're getting so close and our love is getting stronger, that she's just going to break my heart when she leaves, right? Valid. And, there is some truth to that. Like, I will be sad when you do leave. That's not like it's not what I want necessarily. That's not what I want. But at the same time, I want you to grow. I want you to experience what you feel like you need to experience. And I don't want to be the reason you hold yourself back for anything in life, right? So, yeah, anyways, we were able to have that conversation. And again, that felt like such healthy communication, because she's like, I have this fear that I'm going to break your heart. And it's like, well, yeah, my heart doesn't want that, but it's okay. And I signed up for this. We already had this conversation. Do I wish you changed your mind? Did I think maybe that was a possibility? Sure. I like to dream and idealize my own little things in life. But the truth is the truth, and I can accept that. And, it just kind of goes back to things we touched on last week on this show. Is like, if our love's meant to be, it'll be in the future someday, or we always just hold that love, and, we had like a really strong connection and a powerful time together, and that's beautiful too, even if it doesn't come back together someday. So yeah, just being able to speak to fears, so important. Such a healthy way to communicate is to be like, I am scared about this, or I'm worried about this. I have this coming up. Where are you at? Right? Because that kind of comes back to questions. Question everything. Somebody put a good chat in here that was Trigger Therapist, taught me about question everything. Good, bad, ugly. Totally agree with that. Like, question it all. We should be open to be curious and question, especially when it deals with other people, because we just don't know what's going on inside another person. Everybody's got their own projection of life playing, and the only way to really know where they're at mentally or emotionally is to ask questions, and that's just one of the most healthy things you could do. So, yeah.
I agree. And that's like also a beautiful thing, is like having, monthly check-ins, 2-week check-ins, if you're feeling a lot in your body and you're still like learning how to be and feel more secure in relating, when you feel more secure and non-attached, like I said, finding the gift in whatever the medicine is, forever, how long that journey is, even if it's rough and there's a lot there. Like, sometimes you can't always see the medicine until you're out of it, but a lot of growth can happen. And like having those check-ins and finding like the couple questions that feel really good, of just like, hey, what's alive for you right now? And like really setting the container of just like, my intention for this is to bring us closer. My intention for this is to understand you more. My intention for this is to like clear the air of whatever needs to be cleared, if it needs to be cleared. And being like, what's alive for you right now? Like, that question alone can take you a lot of places, from like, what is alive for me? And then, always starting with the body, I feel like getting in touch with our body and our nervous system, like when we're in conflict or when we're feeling like contraction, you know, being like, ooh, I'm feeling a tightness in my chest. I'm feeling a tightness in my throat. Like I feel this like neck ache or like headache. I feel, you know, blocked here. And just, you know, even having that other person being like, okay, like, what would that part of you like love to say? And just like giving space for the contraction in your body to speak. It instantly disperses the tension and liberates like the voice, the heart, the everything. So that's like a beautiful question to start with. Like, what's going on in your body? What's alive for you? What fears are coming up for you? Do you have any fears right now? Like, I know I always have some fears coming up, and just being able to speak to it just like dissolves it, you know? And especially if you have someone who can actually like hold that space without taking it personally and without like letting it hit a wound. And if it does hit like a wound or you do take it personally, just being like speaking to that and being like, I'm kind of taking this personally, you know? Sometimes we can like joke about things. Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, even like sometimes like I like to be ridiculous and just being like, the story I'm telling myself is that like you just don't even like me, you know, and like dramatizing it a little bit because I am a performer. I am a dancer. I love to feel like the theatrics, the drama of things. And like if I'm having a little moment of something, like I love to play it out, you know, like kick, scream, cry, be a brat, like just being like, you don't even like me, you know, and just like letting it be funny, you know, and like taking the pressure off, because I know all my charts and signs, I have like 13 squares. So there's just like always pressure in my field. So I'm like constantly learning how to like release the pressure. But yeah, back to the conversation. So what's alive for you? What's going on inside of your body? What fears do you have? Like, what do you, like, when do you feel most connected to me? You know, because we're constantly trying to find ways of like deeper connection. And sometimes you could be doing something that you feel like is your way of connecting to me, but I'm just like, cool. Like that doesn't faze me, you know?
That's a great question.
I've had partners that don't like touch as much as I do. And touch to me, like, that's the thing. Like if I don't, like if a man's not like touching me or like claiming me or like just a paw on me at some point, I'm just like, you don't even like me. Like you don't even want to touch me. Like this is crazy. But they're just like, didn't grow up with that. They don't know that. That's not their like way of like connecting. And like,
different love languages.
Yeah, I love you, but that's not my person. Like I can't train someone to be like that. I've tried and it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work.
It's really hard to mold people in to what we want, you know? Really hard. People want to be what they want to be or how they feel, and trying to change people is one of like the hardest things, especially for relating. We'll get these crazy ideals of like what this person is to us, but it can be a completely different story from who they are, and we will try so hard to make them what we want them to be.
Not me, no.
I've done it too. We've all done it. But yeah, trying to really let people be what they are and see them for who they are, that's really helped me relate in a much better way, instead of making up the story of what I want it to be and projecting that onto them and then being severely disappointed by them not being that thing. Yeah. Rough. Gosh, I love you, all your Libras just shining. You just have all this relationship wisdom, and your Venus, right, ruling your Mars and your Sun. It's at 0 Sag and Mercury's sitting on it right now, and I feel like you've just been spitting some good wisdom. So I hope everybody feels like they got that. Lyla's a Libra. That's what her sign is. She's a double Libra. Libra rising, Libra Sun, Libra Mars. Mercury in Virgo, Venus in Sag, 0 Sag opposing Uranus. What an interesting transit that is. So funny.
I don't know it.
You started dating an astrologer with
Lucky
Venus
me.
opposing Uranus, which is pretty funny in its own right, because Uranus is the modern ruler of astrology. So to have like Uranus come by and start opposing your Venus is a pretty interesting turn. And I think our relationship's been very unique. Uranus rules the unique energy. So it's been a unique experience for both of us. And then like unexpected, right? Find someone you really connect well with, and then that Venus and Sag got to go experience something else. So it's funny how things happen, and astrology's pretty cool for like looking back at certain like validations and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying, girl?
You know, now I do. Still learning astrology. It's a whole other language that I'm just so interested in. And when I hear him speak and just channel, I'm just like, wow, like, how do you know all of that? That's wild. And I'll get there one day for sure. But relating is definitely where I thrive in, because I've had to learn the hard way a lot of times. So thank you for sharing all that. I love hearing all the things. When it comes to the projecting your fantasy, that's why I also feel like taking it slow at the beginning, which is so hard. We took it slow, and we were able to build so much.
Slow for both of us.
Slow for
Probably
both
still
of us.
fast for some people.
Yeah.
But it was almost a month.
Yeah, a month. And like, I know when I connect with someone and hook up with someone like too quickly right away, like all my love hormones like just pop off, and I'm just like, I see all the things of like what we could do together, and like why you're so perfect for me, and like all the art and creation and all the things that I've just like been dreaming in a man of like being me instead of complimenting me. Dated that so many times, and like it's easier to fantasize and project and not be hooked into the reality. And that's why like integration and space in between is so important. Because once you get hooked and you're in, and like it's so much harder to get out, because we just all love and we want to be loved.
Oh, it's so intoxicating.
It's so intoxicating, especially when it's toxic. You know, then you're just like the push pull, the polarity, the shutdown, the opening up, the push away. It's just like, it's just such a nervous system mind fuck. And like I was in it, so I know I'm like was so in it, and so knowing like how terrible my body feels, but then just like the fantasy of what could be like kept me in it, and like for far too long. And I don't want to ever make that mistake again. And it wasn't a mistake fully, because I had to play it out. Like sometimes we have to go to these extremes to be like, I will never go there again. But you know, and that's how you'll keep hooked in the same pattern, is like if you can't come out of it and like just move through the grief and the anger and like all the things that need to be there, and like come to like, wow, that was a gift. The medicine is this, like I see all these parts of me that like I couldn't see before, or like, ooh, that's like felt familiar to that person and that person. Like when you zoom out and you can see all the things, like if you don't see it as a gift and you're just like, God, why does this always happen to me? Like, I just can't find another man. Like men are all terrible. Like I just like, when am I going to find a man? There's no healthy men out there. There's no good men out there. Like if you say it once, you believe it. And that's like your reality you're creating, and like that's who you're going to attract. But when you can come to like this like full circle of just like, wow, that was a motherfucking ride, yo. Like and like, yes, and like this is what I've learned from it, then like you're able to like close that chapter much faster, and like learn what you want to learn much faster. But if you're like, poor me, why me, like the world is out to get me, then it's going to take a lot longer, and you're going to feel empty. But if you can take all the good parts of all the chaos and turn it into art, or turn it into like a ritual, or make a joke about it or like, learn from it, then you'll be able to spiral up, baby.
Yeah, 100%. It's so easy to say like we did the wrong thing, made the wrong choices, and what is that? What's actually the wrong choice? Everything we experience has purpose, or the Creator wouldn't have put us in that position to begin with. So it's very important to be gentle with ourselves and gentle with other people. That it's okay to go through something. We go through things for a reason. There's growth in that thing that you thought was maybe bad or wrong. There's so much that we learn in those situations. But yeah. Well, I was thinking about talking a little bit about some astrology. The astrology is pretty wild right now. Mercury's gearing up here to go retrograde. Mars is going to leave Scorpio and start hunting down this Mercury that's going to station at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. Just came into Sagittarius today, and Mars is finishing up in Scorpio, trining Saturn, trining Neptune. So there's a lot that we're trying to explore within how we communicate to each other, how we communicate to ourselves, how we think about our desires, where we want to go, what we want to do. There's all these different questions coming up right now, and there's a responsible way to look at it, and that's Saturn in Pisces. Like, let's try to make the mature decision this time. Although Mercury can feel so lost and almost childish in Sagittarius now. Well, I don't know what to do. There's so many different options, things to explore. Well, Mars is saying if you want to, get what you really want, you have to somewhat be able to like focus, right? And to see the bigger picture of what it is that you really want to create from that deep sort of inner urge and that inner space. And Scorpio season's here now. Halloween's coming. There's a lot of creepy crawlies, and I think that we want to explore what we're going into within the depths of ourself right now, and be okay with rehashing things. Be okay with looking over things again. Mercury's opposing Uranus right now. Mars is going to come and oppose Uranus in just a few days on November 4th. So there's a whole bunch of like, if you think you know everything right now and you're so attached and you're going to hold on to that, well, good luck, because things can change in a second, in the flash of an eye, before you even expected it or thought it could happen. That's sort of the time that we're in right now. So be okay with a change of plans, be okay with a change of direction right now, and try not to mentally beat yourself up, but that ultimately where your beliefs and your faith lie within yourself is going to help you rise through that situation and come out on the other side. But don't expect things to just be simple, if you will, during this time. Like, expect a little complexity, and you'll be probably more pleasantly surprised with the carousel of life and sort of where things spin. It's kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, there's a bankrupt on there, and we could all hit the bankrupt, but that's a very small percentage, and all the other things are prizes. So the more like open we are to letting the carousel, letting the wheel spin right now, and see where God wants us to be, and to have our mind be expansive and open to where that can take us, without being so desperately attached to a certain outcome, will be better, because we're going to have to reevaluate so many different things right now, and it's going to feel very electric and very stimulating. So I think make sure you're taking time to calm your mind, take time to understand what your true faith is, where your sort of North Star is in life, and really hone in on that, because everything else maybe other than your faith and your connection is subject to some kind of a shift, and one that you weren't really expecting. So be open to that, and should make everybody just be able to go through the bumps a little bit easier, because you never know, like, where that might direct you could actually unlock a desire, or get you closer to your desire than you had ever thought. But it was a weird avenue that you didn't think, it's a weird detour to get there. You thought that it was just this like straight, flight, but then that flight got, delayed, and it got a layover over here. But maybe you meet someone special over there. Maybe you find a new way to create abundance over there. All of a sudden, it's not so much about the destination, but it's about the journey. And I think that this is a good time to realize that the destination's, just a piece of the journey, and to be excited for different avenues and different detours that the journey can take you on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got anything else to close out with, Miss Lyla?
Gosh, it's just wild how you can just tune in and it just takes you to all these places, and it's so relevant and it feels so resonant, and it helps me just feel like it's not like, why is this happening to me, but just like, oh yeah, it's just written in the stars, like this is just what I'm here to like karmically play out right now. And yeah, I'm just grateful for your wisdom in these ways, because it helps me feel just more connected to the beyond and to myself within. And so thank you. I feel like what's coming up for me real quick is releasing tension in the body and feeling like safe, because I do believe like the person who, I heard this quote and it feels so resonant, is the person who is the most dangerous in the room is the person that doesn't feel safe in their body. And I believe with my whole heart that is so true, because they are so quick to be reactive, to respond, to react from a place of like you attacked me and I'm going to defend myself. But when you can learn your nervous system, because I spent so many years of my life, majority of years of my life, not feeling safe and being in survival and not being able to like connect deeply, because I wasn't connected to myself in these ways. And that is like most of the world. So you're not alone if that's you still working through all that, because it takes a lot of work. And, for me, EFT, like tapping, helped me the most. My friend Most Jeff on Instagram, he works with the fairy godmother, and she does tapping, and he does like the shadow work aspect. So he goes into like the deepest fears of what's true for me, like my fears, and he'll like say it in these ways that just trigger a response. And I am regulating my body while like feeling the emotions of all of my fears coming up. So I'm like neutralizing it, and it's like the most beautiful somatic practice for me personally, because I'm super somatic. And just finding what works for you, because if you're feeling a lot in your body and you like don't take care of that, then it's not going to go away. It's just going to come out in different areas of your life or on different people, mostly the ones that you care about the most. We definitely take out all of our shit on the people that we care about most. So finding space and time in your car to just like fucking scream, put on some emo like rage music and just like or like jump up and down, like shake for 3 minutes and just like move your body, like pound your chest if you're a man, just like invoking that power back in you, and like like opening the throat and the voice is like literally the most powerful thing you can do, because that's actually like moving the emotion and like expression out. It's like moving out of the body, which is very important, because otherwise it's holding ourselves inside. Putting pillows on the ground, like punching them and just honestly being like, fuck you, how could you do this to me? Or just like, I hate you. Like, let yourself like have no limits, because like you're creating a container for you to like be real with whatever it is that is you. So if like you want to play the victim out, like create a container to play the victim out, so you're not playing it out in real life. like lie on your back and like kick and scream and just like have a temper tantrum like a child, because we all are children still inside, very much so. Find what works for you and make it a practice for when you feel the contraction, when you feel the rage, when you feel that. Otherwise, you're just cutting yourself off from connection, from love, and to all the things that you really, really want in life. And then you're creating resistance too. So even do that together as partners, as couples, like create containers to like go ham and like in your own way together, just like punching and in the mirror. And like, you know, there's one technique that I really love. You breathe in, hold your breath, and you just punch and go ape shit for as long as you possibly can. And then you exhale and you're just like high and like, oh my gosh, like releasing so much steam. So, you know, I feel like the women are rising really rapidly with all of the self-work that we're doing. We've been doing it for years and years now, and like there's still women out there that like need it as well. But if men like really take the leap and learn how to harness and handle their emotions, and like they'll feel like they can hold more and hold more, like within a woman and within a relationship, within work, because they're like releasing, letting go. And sometimes that's like working out, going in the steam room, different stuff like that. But I think the voice is very important. So grunting while you're lifting, like, you know, just like getting into it, like, and just who cares what people think, because you're giving them permission. Even if you're in public and you need to shake and move or like go like, like you're giving people permission to like be real with what's true for them in the moment. And I think that's very important in how we're going to change the world. So to become more love and less like hate and fear and anger and all of that. So yeah,
love it.
I think that's good. I want to just always incorporate like embodiment tips and rituals and things to really like move yourself forward. And you know, that's why I feel like this podcast is amazing, because he has like the astrology and the stars, and then we have like the connection of relating, and then like the embodiment tips is like womp womp womp. It's like, it's great. I love it.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
This was a good one. This was almost an hour and a half.
Oh nice. Look what happens when we don't have time restraints.
Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to close out with?
Yeah, let's do that. Coming back, putting your hands on your knees, on your lap, and just feeling the connection of your hands on your body and all the wisdom and all the codes. Just see like this spiraling mass of light, this like fractaled consciousness above you, with all of these codes that are already in the collective consciousness, that are already been created, that are already available to you in this moment. And now flip your hands up towards the sky and just feeling yourself being open, breathing into your heart and opening yourself up to receive this light, supercharged with all codes known and unknown, to support you on your evolution into your expansion. And just breathe this light in, letting it drip down, ooze down, melt down into your third eye, cleansing and clearing the crystals of your mind's eye, moving down through your throat, clearing out any words, any thoughts, any things that are negative that you may talk to yourself or to others, and letting it purify your speech. Moving down into your heart, filling any gaps or cracks in your heart, filling that with love, breathing it in. Moving down at your fingertips, down through your sacred area, letting it swirl with delight, love, healthy relating connections, trust and having certainty that you are here to love and be loved, to experience love. How quickly can you open to love in the face of closure? How quickly can you show yourself the love that you are desiring to give to others? This light now moves down, down, down to your feet, to the earth, seeing yourself as this pillar of light, shining, radiating, expanded with more knowledge, more wealth and love to put you on your highest path, to connect you to the ones that are here and meant for you, to teach you through the hard times and the good, and coming out with, wow, how is that a gift? Taking a big inhale, one more. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the wisdom that you dropped today. It's beautiful to share this space with you and to hear different things that you want to share with the world. Very grateful for so much, and so grateful for your love and how you share that to so many different people. Appreciate everybody who watched. I hope you found something in this podcast that resonated, that made you either feel very good about yourself or maybe shine a light on something that you would like to work on so that you can feel better about yourself. And yeah, we're so grateful that you joined us. We're just happy to be here and happy to share with you all. So we'll see you next week. We haven't picked a topic yet.
Yeah, if anyone has any,
feel free to leave suggestions in the comments below.
You have anything you want to learn or have us like go deeper into?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're super available for that challenge, and that, you know, even if it's like deeper, darker work, like we're here to be vulnerable, we're here to be real, we're here to, you know, bring light to the shadows and make the world a better place. So thanks again for joining us. This is so fun. It's only my second podcast episode. I don't think I said like as many times this time, which that's something to be proud of. So getting better every time.
There's a couple, but I do it too, and it's such a weird unconscious thing. It's hard. I don't know. You know, I say a lot, and it's you just, I don't even know how to like really beat that sort of subconscious space killer, but we're all trying to get better, and you know, hopefully we all do that in our own ways. Yeah, thank you so much. We'll see you all next time, and I hope everybody has a lovely Halloween and does some trick-or-treating with their kids if they have kids, or if not, I hope you have some fun parties and just live it up. Enjoy your lives. Do you have something you want to say?
Just, yeah, make sure to have fun, be expressive, dress up, be weird, be funny. Let yourself go there, because it really does something for the soul and the expression and like the liberation of the soul. And you've just learned new things about yourself by playing in characters and being with friends. So yeah, that's about it. But love you all. Thank you.
We love you all. We'll see you next time. Happy Halloween. Peace.